Today I want to address clickbaity titles about housing crashes in 2024. Yeah, I'm including this video because the title is a housing crash coming in 2024 question mark? Probably not, and today I'm going to show you why. Hello, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, welcome back if you've been around for a while. My name is Ben Robitaille. Missed a couple weeks because we just had a baby, so that's why I look like this. But bear with me because today we're talking about the housing market in Canada in 2024. Now we're going to go over some stats today, and I just want to show you what is actually happening out there and stay away from the headlines that are saying, you know, the market's going to crash, you shouldn't buy a house, whatever. Every situation is different. At the end of the day, what it comes down to is understanding the numbers and what works best for your situation. Maybe it makes sense to buy a house. Maybe it makes sense to sell a house. Maybe it doesn't. It's really a case-by-case basis, and today we're going to go over all of that. ITSO, for those who are in Canada, specifically in Ontario, ITSO is essentially like a group of real estate boards. It doesn't include Toronto, it doesn't include, I believe, Ottawa and Sudbury, but most of the other real estate boards in Ontario are part of ITSO. So when we look at the numbers, these are the numbers we're talking about. We're not talking about the Toronto market, we're talking about everything basically outside of it, which for a lot of Ontarians or Canadians, or when we're looking at trends, is a pretty good sample size. So the first thing I want us to take a look at is the average sale price. So February 2022, we hit a peak. The average sale price across all of it was $980, almost $1 million. The number of sales too, I mean, fairly high for this time period. So we are looking back to 2021. This is all COVID era sales. The number of homes for sales have gone up over the last few years, but is still, I mean, relatively low in the grand scheme of things. But what I want you to pay specific attention to is what is happening so far this year. So if we look to January, average sale price across all of it, so it was $749, jumped to $768 in February, and now we're up to $809. Now we're not at this peak, it was February 2022, but the trend over the last 3 months, and it'll be interesting to see what April brings, is a fairly steep increase. Now if we look at the number of sales, also increasing, number of new listings increasing as well, but we're nowhere near where we were, in those spring markets of the previous years. So we've got a ways to go. So unless we get a lot more inventory on the market, I think this average sale price number is going to keep going up. So what does this mean? It means if you're somebody who's thinking of buying or trying to get into the market, if there's any way you can do it sooner rather than later this year, don't hold off. If this trend continues, I think by the time we hit July, we're going to see prices be a little crazy again. And already we're seeing it in my market, in Simcoe County and parts of South Muskoka. Anything that's a lower price listing is sometimes holding offers and trying to drive multiple offers. So we're getting back into those competitive situations, which really suck. And I really, really hope don't stick around because they're not fun. If you're a buyer, you're putting in offer after offer after offer, just hoping that yours is the one that gets picked. And oftentimes people are sacrificing conditions that really ought to be in there to protect both buyers and sellers. What I do find slightly comforting, and it's a stat that I didn't go over in that screen recording there, but is something called percentage of original list price and months of inventory. So percentage of original list price is at 98.8%. So what this means is of all the listings out there that are selling, on average, they're selling for 98% of what they're listed for. So places outside of Toronto are still going, for the most part, under list price. And if we look at the type of market we're in, I do this by counting the months of inventory. So dividing the number of new listings that come on the market by the number of sales to see how many months it would take for that supply to run out. Now, as a general rule, anything under 3 months, I would consider a seller's market. Anything between 3 and 6, fairly balanced. Obviously leaning one way or the other if you're closer to 3 or closer to 6. And then anything over 6, I push us further into buyer's market. For ITSO right now, we are sitting at 3.4 months of inventory, which tells me that, yeah, we're edging closer to that seller's market, although it's not quite the full-blown seller's market of what I'm calling the COVID era. So if we look back to February of 2022, there was less than 1 month of inventory, which basically seller can put a sign on the lawn and it's going to be sold within the week, guaranteed. Now, if that's still your expectation as a seller, I'm sorry, but those days aren't back yet. And really, I hope they don't come back. But know that the market is still leaning towards sellers. And again, disclaimer, this is a generalization for basically the whole province. Different markets, if you dive deeper into them, are going to produce different results. I know even within Simcoe County, there's pockets of tiny that there's listings that are oversaturated at a certain price point and listings at another price point that as soon as they come on the market, they're gone. So again, what does this mean for you, the consumer, in today's market? It means prices could be going up. Not to oversimplify, but if you're somebody who's selling and buying, if prices increase, it is a better time to be downsizing. Because again, to oversimplify, if you have a $500,000 house and a $1 million house and both go up by 20%, which is rarely the case, but let's say it is, then selling that $1 million house for 1.2 and buying the $500,000 house for 6 is going to be a better deal than going the other way around. When the market was coming down from February of 2022, it made more sense to upsize, because if that $1 million listing came down 20%, the $500,000 house came down 20%, yes, you sold for $400,000, but you could buy for $800,000. Again, it doesn't work that precisely, but it's a good example to give you an idea of how to make a move if you're selling and buying in either market. If you're just selling, I would hold on as late as you can into the spring for this year. Who knows what's going to happen beyond that, but if you can wait until, I would say, even May, which is coming up, or June, you might get a little bit more dollar for your house. Beyond that, if we get interest rate cuts, we might get even more competitive and that value might go up even more. Anyway, that's all I have for you this week. Thank you for bearing with me. If you like this video, please consider hitting the like button. If you want to stay up to date on real estate content in Canada, specifically Ontario, Simcoe County, Muskoka, consider subscribing. We'd love to have you on the channel. If you want to chat real estate or dive into a specific market, you can book a discovery call with me in the link below. Just click on in there, book a time, and I'll give you a call and we can chat about whatever you want. Real estate, golf, acting, F1, whatever you want to talk about. I'm always happy to chat. Hope you guys are having a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.